I want to start with Psalm 51 in the Hebrew, verse 12. Here, I think in the English, it's a few verses off. 51:12. Let's see. In the King James, it's verse 10. Create in me a clean heart. Different
Amen.
word completely for clean, but it's talking about the nature of your heart.
Amen.
So it's lev tahor instead of lev zach or zach levav, right? So it's a pure heart, but with a different word for pure, but it's the same principle there. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. So this first off is just a purely Tanakh idea. And it reminds me of another passage which doesn't talk about heart, it talks about spirit. But again, in the sense, it's sort of related. And I have a lot of people, I share this with Christians, and they're shocked that this is in the Tanakh. They're like, no, that's got to be an Acts somewhere. That's in one of the epistles of Paul. And it's Ezekiel 18:31. I'll read it in the King James.
Yes.
Cast away from all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed. Sorry, cast away from you all your transgressions whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will you die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dies, says Lord Yehovah. Wherefore, turn yourselves and live ye. So here in Psalms, the prayer is to create in me a new heart. And in Ezekiel, the exhortation of the prophet,
Yes.
he's telling the people, get rid of your transgressions and sins and make for yourselves a new heart and a new spirit.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So this is a purely Tanakh idea of having the new heart, the pure heart, the clean heart. Get rid of your heart which has sin and take upon a new heart. Now, we talked about in an earlier episode, 2 Chronicles 25. I'm going to put it in a little bit of context. For each one of the kings of Israel and Judah, we have the statement in the book of Kings, 1st and 2nd Kings. Jews just talk about the book of Kings.
Right.
In the book of Kings, we have, meaning in the Greek, it's divided into 1st and 2nd. Actually, in the Greek, it's 3rd and 4th, but we'll leave that for a different discussion. So we have the book of Kings, and in Kings, for almost every king, it'll say he did that which was right in the eyes of Yehovah, or he didn't do that which was right in the eyes of Yehovah. And then all of a sudden, in 2 Chronicles 25:1, which is taking information from kings and adding more information, it says about King Amaziah in English. It says Amaziah reigned for, Amaziah was 25 years old when he reigned, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 29 years. And the name of his mother was Jehoadan of Yerushalayim. Vayas hayashal b'nei Yehovah, and he did that which was straight-laced, that which was right in the eyes of Yehovah. Could be any king, nothing special here. And then that's taken out of the type of information we get from kings, and all of a sudden he says, lo levav shalem, but not with a complete heart. Not with a complete heart. So there's this idea we're hearing in 2 Chronicles 25 that you can fulfill perfectly the letter of the law, follow everything that God commanded in the Torah, but if your heart's not in the right place, you got a problem. Wow.
Now, Nehemia, I want to ask something.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm trying to be sensitive, folks. I'm trying to be sensitive. I don't know if you're ready for a transition or not.
I want to finish this passage, then we'll go to a transition.
Excellent.
And we'll talk about the really controversial stuff in the Plus episode. I want to finish, because this is the mild stuff. Wait till we get to the controversy.
Yeah.
So 1 Kings 8:61. Here it's King David, I believe it's King David speaking to his son, and he says, "V'haya levavchem shalem im Yehovah Eloheinu," and let your heart be complete with Yehovah our God, lalechet b'chukav v'lishmo mitzvotav kayom hazeh, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments as this day. So there's two aspects of this: keeping the commandments and doing it with a complete heart.
Yes.
You can have one without the other, and you can have the other without the one, right? Because, I mean, look, there's this perception, I just have to keep these commandments perfectly. And then this is actually something I was taught in rabbinical Judaism, that if all Israel keeps 2 Shabbats in a row perfectly in accordance with rabbinical law, the Messiah will automatically come. Just 2. Because every Jew has, and there's so many laws for Shabbat that the rabbis have created, so nobody keeps it perfectly. But if all of Israel would keep it just twice, it would be an accomplished fact that the Messiah would automatically come. And what we're hearing here is it's not enough to do it perfectly. Whether it's according to God's commandments or the rabbinical, right? That's a different question. But it's not enough to do it perfectly. You have to have the complete heart. 1 Kings 15:4. And this is interesting because this is the exact opposite of Amaziah in the book of Kings. Amaziah did everything yashar, straight-laced in the eyes of Yehovah, straight, but now with a complete heart. Now it's King Asa, and the high places he did not remove, but Asa did, Rak levav Asa haya shalem im Yehovah. However, the heart of Asa was complete with Yehovah all of his days.
Amen.
So Asa didn't fulfill the letter of the law. He allowed the high places to remain, but his heart was in the right place. And that's, what? How can your heart be in the right place if you don't do that which is right? Because God is the judge of all the earth. God decides. He looks in our hearts. That's how merciful he is. And he knows what it is we intended. Psalm 24, 3-5. I'm going to skip over that, guys. Look it up. Psalm 73:10. And therefore the people turn in praise and find no fault in them. And they say, how can God know? Is there knowledge in the Most High? So are the wicked also at ease. They increase in riches. All in vain have I kept my heart clean and washed my hands in innocence. So what's happening here is the righteous are looking at the wicked and saying, wow, that guy is prospering. Why have I bothered to have a clean heart? I should just be wicked like him and I'll also prosper. So the wicked the righteous looks at the wicked and he's misled, thinking there's no benefit in keeping God's commandments. I can just be a bad guy and I'll thrive. So they're misled like that. For all day long I've been plagued and I'm punished every morning. So when bad things happen to good people, they can come to the wrong conclusions that I should just be bad in that case, right? And of course what the psalmist is saying, no, be good, because in the end God will judge all things. Proverbs 16:2, all the ways of man are pure, zach, same word as in Hebrew Matthew, are pure in his eyes. V'tochen ruchot Yehovah, but Yehovah is the measurer of spirits, the measurer of souls. In other words, Yehovah looks in your heart and he knows, and I'll end with this. Psalm 44, 21-22. Look, guys, there's also Jeremiah 17:10. I am Yehovah who investigates the heart, who examines the kidneys, right? It makes it sound like he's some kind of surgeon. No, but the kidneys is we think of the thoughts having in your brain, in your head, which they also had that idea, but they also have this idea of it being in your kidneys. So Yehovah is going to look into your heart, look into your thoughts, giving each man according to his ways and according to his actions, right? So God judges you based on your actions, but he also takes into account what's in your heart, according to Jeremiah 17:10. Also, 1 Kings 8:39, guys, look it up. But now, Psalm 44, 21-22 is incredible. And I'll end with this, and then we have to talk in the next part about the really controversial information. What does it mean to see God? So Psalm 44, 20-21. In the King James, it's actually verses 19-20, I believe. Yeah. Though you cast us crushed to where, this is the JPS, it's a horrible translation. Here's King James. Though thou hast sore broken us up in the place of dragons. The place of dragons, wow. All right, I don't have time to get into it. Not exactly what it means. It's actually more like crocodiles. And covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our God and stretched out our hands to a strange God, and then verse 22 in the Hebrew, 21 in the English, God will surely search it out, for he knows the secrets of the heart. So it describes here a situation of people whose heart's in the right place, right? Just like King Asa, but he does something wrong. It's like we talked about in a previous episode, the king of the Khazars, the Kuzari. His heart is in the right place, but he doesn't know any better. And so he worships a foreign god. That's addressed here. I raise up my hands and I call out to the name of the wrong God. I call God, the true God, by the wrong name. We're not even talking pronunciation here. It's the completely wrong name, a different name altogether. God is that merciful. He can look in our hearts and see what we intended because we had the pure heart. So maybe Yeshua, when he said, blessed are those pure in heart, knew what he meant, meant what he said. And he wasn't saying, well, pure heart, but what I mean by that is you have checked the right boxes from the Jewish perspective, you've checked the right boxes from the theological Christian perspective. I don't actually mean pure in heart, I mean pure in doctrine, pure in observance of theology and observance of commandments and rabbinical law. Maybe he meant what he said, pure in heart.